Okay, good morning everybody. It is a Monday today and I've been asked by one of my subscribers to put together a what I eat in a day video. Now, first and foremost, I'm not a nutritionist, and so if you're looking for specific advice about what you should eat, whether it's regarding diet or health or something else which is particular to you, I would recommend looking at YouTube. Simnet Nutrition is a channel that I've watched for a very long time, and I've used a lot of his advice both regarding health and working out and looking after your body, and also the nutritional side of things. So it is worth looking into his channel. If you're looking for great recipes, I would recommend the Happy Pear channel. Really good for quick, easy meals. Also, Vegside Connection has got some great one-pot dishes, things that have inspired me to kind of work a little bit harder on what I'm eating. Now, also, with it being a Monday, I would typically be at work Monday to Friday. I work 5 days a week, and so the breakfast portion will look similar. The evening food will also look similar, but in the day, my lunch tends to differ. Now, what I should do is bulk prep some food. I'm rubbish at doing that. I tend to make it and then eat it, all of it, which is a bit of a downfall. But what I typically have, I pop to the local shop and it will be some sort of pasta-based dish, pre-packaged, with butternut squash, some hummus, something like that. So falafel and hummus, quick, easy, pre-prepared food. So that was what a normal day would look like. So let's kickstart with what I would have in the morning. Wake up, and normally I'm just straight into water. I've drunk hot water primarily for all of my life. I'm not actually that interested in drinking teas or coffees. I went through a stage of having hot chocolate, but basically I'm just straight to water. Some other recommendations that I've been having more recently, just keeping it basic, some nice red berry tea bags. What have I got here? Superfruit. Normally people have bought me these and I just dive into them. So superfruits. You can get these kind of things, boosts with vitamin B6. There's all sorts of recovery-based ones as well. Big fan of this one here. It's a turmeric gold. Turmeric, very important. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So I'll start the day with that. Simple. I'll also maybe have some orange juice or some cranberry juice. A little mix. I'm not saying I do it every single day, but basically I'm starting with a cup of warm something and probably a cold water as well. Now to talk about breakfast. So I've never been very good at having breakfast in the morning. When I get up, it's the last thing I want to do is eat straight away. And if I'm going out on long runs, typically I've done these fasted. So I've had my water, I might grab a quick maybe snack bar, but I'm not having cereals and things or toast, which I know I need to work on. So if I'm having sort of a standard breakfast before work, I might just grab some cereal, but it's what I put on top of the cereal which is the important factor. What I'm going to do now though is make you or show you a breakfast that I've been working on recently, trying to incorporate that into my running, because I know that for the longer runs I need to be fueled much better, and if I'm not going to be fueling during the run, I need to make sure that before the run I am all set up. So we're going to make just a simple porridge and I'm going to show you how I do it. So you can do this in the microwave, but I just tend to do it on the hob. It's much easier. It does tell you how much you should put into this. I tend to just make it up because I'm not very good at quantities. That's probably too much. So that goes on there. And then you can use either water or you can use a plant-based milk, which is what I do. And again, you're supposed to measure this out. I don't bother because I don't really know what I'm doing. There you go, that's all finished, so that's my quantity until it's all gone. I use the rice stream milk, personally prefer that. So that's going to go straight on there. I'm going to leave that for a few minutes. So let's give that a little stir up. Okay, I'll check back in with you in 2. So you want to turn the heat down so things don't get too exciting. And at this stage what you can do is put some, or what I choose to put some blueberries in. So grab a handful of them, or whatever. There we go, that's gone in. So put some blueberries in now, just gives them a little warm through. And the most important thing to do here is make sure the heat's at the right level. You don't want it to be bubbling over too much. You want it just to be warming through and getting obviously thicker over time, depending on what you like. Now I've put quite a substantial amount of rice milk in here, so it's not going to thicken up that much, and actually I like it to be a little bit runny and a bit smoother instead of too thick. Okay, so when that bit's done, obviously I'm not going to show you pour it into a bowl, but you understand the concept. That's going to go into a bowl there. I put the blueberries in. I love blueberries. I have them every single day. Quite an expensive thing to have, especially in the winter months, but for health benefits, absolutely worth doing a little bit of research on that if you're interested. Dr. Gregor's got some good info on that. Now, we've got the porridge in the bowl. It's a bit thicker than I want it to be, but there we go. And here's what goes on top. Nope. So this is what I can do. You might choose to have some kind of honey. I don't have honey. I don't eat honey, sorry. So I have some kind of like your fruit syrups, your agave. If you want to, it's entirely up to you. Let's just whack that on there for the purpose of the video. So just a little squirt of that, just sweetens things up. You don't actually need it. You can also put, if you wanted to, some almond butter onto it. I don't choose to do that, but you could do different types of almond butter. Peanut butter, I've seen people mix in. Okay, and here's the important stuff. So, every day some hemp seeds go on there. So we sprinkle on the hemp seeds. I'll show you a picture afterwards. Oh, that's too much. As you'll see from these videos, I basically end up saying the words too much all the time because I've got no concept of measuring properly. Chia seeds. The hole in this bag is far too big, so I'm going to end up putting far too much on. That'll do there. People talk about nuts. You know, you can put on, like, I have a Brazil nut normally once a day. It's supposed to be good for you, I think. Sorry about the noise of the packaging. Oops, should have put that on, never mind. Now, here, I've got some flaxseed. The flaxseed's actually flavoured. So this is kind of a cinnamony flaxseed, cinnamon apple. So that can just go straight on. Gives it, again, additional flavour and taste. Nice spoon of that. That's gone on. Wow, this is looking heavy. And then, if you want to, you can get some cacao nibs. Again, all these different things have got additional magnesium, potassium ion, all that kind of stuff in them. This is where I kind of like to kickstart my day with all the bits and pieces that I should be trying to include during the day that I will tend to forget. And then I've also got a little kind of trail mix. So chuck a couple of walnuts on there. Got some goji berries, some raisins, some sunflower seeds, some coconut. Yeah, you just want a nice mix. So I'll show you a picture of what it looks like. I promise you it tastes better than it looks, because it looks a bit of a mess. Okay, and that, there you go, that there is basically the breakfast, the fuel. Okay, so back in the kitchen, let's talk lunch. Now, a couple of things I mentioned earlier, I was talking about different kind of tea bags, things I have. Completely forgot to mention the very basic one, which is green tea. Straight up green tea is what it is, which actually is what I had directly after the video. As only when I had it, I thought, oh, I didn't show that packet, but you get it. Also, I spoke about the kind of things that I might have early morning if I'm not having breakfast, because the big thing is if I'm going out for a run, I like to eat an hour and a half to 2 hours before I go for a run. If my run's at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going to be getting up at 5 to eat. It just doesn't make any sense. So the kind of thing I might grab, and okay, I'm a realist. I'm not suggesting that this is without its negatives in terms of sugar content, salt content, but it is what it is. So grab like kind of a flapjack style bar, something a bit OT. This happens to be the cocoa raisin. There are many variations of it, but that's the kind of thing I have. Now, when we're talking about lunch, I'm going to stick with the theme that I mentioned before, which was what I have at work. So we're going to have some pasta. We're going to knock up some pasta. Real simple stuff here. Now, I'm actually really into the red lentil pasta. I've also got a green pea one here. It's got a bit more of a taste to it, as in a taste that I don't like. It's got a flavour that I'm not fully comfortable with, but I've got so many different versions of that. I've got some spinach pasta, lots of different things you can have. You can have whole wheat as well, whatever you fancy. So I'm going to chuck some of this in. Again, this is something that what I should do at this point is probably bulk out, make a real big batch. Now, today is New Year's Eve. Tomorrow I'm busy. We've got other food planned. I'm making some food later for that. And so I'm not going to do a big batch of pasta for today because I'm not going to be using it tomorrow. So pasta goes in. I don't tend to use a huge amount of it. That's done. Now, other things I'm going to have today with the pasta. So, now again, being realistic, let me just show you what I do have in the cupboard. Sometimes I will get just a pre-prepared sauce because it's easy and simple, and again, check the contents. I'm not suggesting that it's absolutely wonderful, the best thing in the world. It could contain lots of oil, etc, etc, but I'm realistic. It's not always possible to knock up things from fresh. So with that said though, today I'm doing something a bit different. I'm going to be boiling the pasta. After I've done that, some things I will be putting in there. We're going to go with black beans, absolutely essential. So black beans always go in my pasta. I'm also going to put in some cherry tomatoes. Got some broccoli, which was seriously cheap, 20p for some broccoli. That's going in. Always put spinach in. I'm going to put some kale as well, which I've got there. And anything else I fancy. So I've got the beans, oh yeah, and then turmeric goes in. Turmeric combined with black pepper is absolutely essential for recovery. You can find out more about that if you just kind of Google it and YouTube it. Some mixed herbs, maybe some garlic granules, basically whatever you like. But the idea is that my pasta dish is not just solely pasta and sauce. It's actually just pasta as the base, and then there's probably more beans than pasta in the dish. And also, if you want to get kind of fancy, you can chop mushrooms in there and all those sorts of things. And then plant-based diet, so therefore I get myself some of the nutritional yeast, which is absolutely awesome. Gives you additional B12 and all of that kind of cool stuff. So let's get to work on this dish right now. Okay, so I just realised that this video is probably going to come out completely wonky because I hadn't quite, paid any attention to the fact that it wasn't quite sitting straight. So pasta's cooked. That cooks quite quickly actually. That pasta. There we go. That's not a visual effect afterwards. That is as is reality. So drain the pasta. Get that ready there. I'm actually going to use some passata. This is just straight up tomatoes basically, but you can use a variety of different things. So passata goes in there. I used half of this the other day, so this is the other half just going in now. It's a good thing about pasta dishes, you can just basically raid your fridge and your cupboards and anything that's in there, just throw it together. So that's passata there. Black beans, you want to just drain off some of this fluid that comes with it. Okay, so that goes in there. It's quite runny, oh well. So I try if I can to buy organic, but again, being a realist, it's not always available. Just is what it is, right? Some of the shops that I shop at locally just don't have the organic range, so you can only do what you can do. Just do your best. It's always about just trying your hardest to get some quality ingredients. So passata goes in, black beans go in. At this stage I'll just mix those up together, just get things binding nicely. There's a bit too much juice still there from the black beans, but hey ho. Turmeric, you could measure it out, I just chuck a bit in. Oop, too much as usual. Some black pepper. So the turmeric and the black pepper work in harmony together. The black pepper activates the properties of the turmeric. That's about as much as I know. And so that's just mixing together. You cannot see that. What a pointless attempt that was. Just see if I can turn that and show you. There we go there. That's what it looks like so far. And then we are just going to put in as well at this stage. I like to get some spinach moving. I tend to put it just in the bowl as a bit of a base layer. But I also like to just get some into the mix itself. Put loads of spinach in because it tends to just disappear to nothing anyway. I do love spinach, eat a lot of spinach, and kale as well. Kale, that superfood that sadly is pretty boring. Quite a boring food, but it is good for you. So with the kale, I'm just going to put some of this in as well once the spinach has just wilted down a bit there. So like I say, it's not the most difficult meal to make and to prep, and it's just something you can add in whatever you want to really. I've also forgot the herbs as I'm talking about this. Just look at what you've got. If you've just got mixed herbs, sure, chuck some of those in. Or if you've got a preference for rosemary or thyme or whatever it might be, knock yourself out. Some garlic as well, some garlic granules, whatever floats your boat. So don't be too precious about, or certainly in my opinion, don't be too precious about what to include or what not to include. Just try your best to hit your dailies, 5 a days, and get some good mix in there. What I've sometimes done as well, I don't have any, unfortunately, there weren't any at the shop, but get some peppers, chop some peppers up, get some roasted peppers, put them in the oven maybe while this is all preparing, or you can put them straight into the saucepan. I tend to just make everything in the saucepan. That's one tip I would say, invest in a decent saucepan that's going to do the job, because I've used it this morning already for breakfast, I've used it again for this here. I probably won't be using it later, but now the spinach is starting to... Well, kale's a tricky one. Again, I just grab a handful, hope for the best. It tends to fly everywhere. It's a bit springy, a bit bouncy, the kale. So, while that's just doing that there, this is your time to do a little bit of tidying. And then, we'll get ourselves ready for dinner. So I'm going to show you the finished product. I'll take a quick picture of it so you can see it. But that's lunch. Okay, so today was actually a rest day on my marathon training plan. However, I want to go out just for a run, just to see how I felt, and I've just done 9 kilometres. So an unexpected run, which means now it is a perfect time to prepare the third meal of the day for me. I'm a bit undecided about what I want to do. I think in terms of ease, I'm going to put together a stir fry. Now what I would normally do is I'm going to get some marinated tofu, some mushrooms, some peppers, some tomatoes, chop them all up, throw them into a pan and kind of get frying. But I don't have all the ingredients because they weren't at the shop, as I mentioned earlier. So I'm going to go tofu, mushrooms, tomatoes. What I'm also going to do is get some rice, but I'm also, as a third option as well for my food, I'm going to get some potatoes, because these are cheap. Now these are just standard kind of potatoes. These are called Charlotte potatoes, great roasted whole. And that's what I want to do. I want to roast some potatoes, but I'm not going to do them whole. I'm going to slice them up, bit of salt, bit of pepper, bit of seasoning, throw them in as well. So it's going to be quite a big dish, but that'll be it for me. And I mean, it's quite early. That clock is wrong, by the way. It's quite early, it's about 5 o'clock, but I want to have a bath and do kind of stuff like that as well. So let's get cooking. Once you've chopped your potatoes, pretty simple, slice and dice, throw them onto some kind of oven pan, and then I just put 3 things on them. I've got some pink Himalayan salt, I've got some roasted garlic and herb mix here, and I've got some black pepper. You can use oil if you want to. I try and be as oil free as I can. Doesn't always happen, but there we go. They're going to go in a bit earlier because the frying part of it, the tofu and the mushrooms, are really not going to take very long at all. So that goes in now. Put it to kind of 30 minutes and flip it after 15 and you'll be ready to go. Now for the simple bit, basically throw it all in a pan. So I'm using a coconut oil blend. I prefer this to the other oils available, but each to their own. Got mushrooms cut up. I actually hate mushrooms, but I've started to force myself onto them. So if you put them in a frying pan, they tend to just kind of dissolve and become smaller, manageable things to eat. Tofu, marinated tofu, you can get the kind of completely neutral one, or you get different smoked, whatever your taste preferences are. I've got some tomatoes here. Oh, didn't even see that, tomatoes. Spinach and kale I might throw in as well, and then I've got just brown rice plus tomatoes plus the potatoes in the oven. So quite a big dish, quite full, but you can kind of chop and change, add stuff, take stuff away. You have to put the rice with it, you have to put potatoes with it, whatever suits you. But that's going to be my meal for this evening, and I'll take a picture of it when it's done. So the meal's ready, looking a little bit neutral, not so colourful. Like I say, normally add some peppers. I might put some spinach on there, a little bit of kale. I'll see how I go. And what you can do as well, it just adds maybe some sauces, a bit of chilli sauce. I like a nice mango chutney style sauce, whatever suits you. But that's roughly what I eat in a day. There's the 3 meals for you. If you have any other questions or videos you'd like me to do, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments below. And if I haven't done a video already, I'll do it for you. And if I have, and it was back in the day, I'll direct you to it with a link. So thank you again for checking out my what I eat in a day.